baby, the girls are fighting, but this time it's not just shade, it's full-on scandal. Word on the street is Emma Stone is standing 10 toes down behind Justin and allegedly coming for Blake's neck in the process. Miss Emma is being praised for showing support to Justin, but things took a messy turn when fans noticed she threw not-so-subtle shots at Blake, accusing her of being a full-blown bully behind the scenes. Now the internet is in chaos trying to figure out what really went down, and the tea is piping hot. Emma Stone is speaking up, and it's got the whole industry whispering, so Emma is usually the quiet, classy, stays out of mess type of girl. She was never the one to be out here airing folks out, until now. She finally let a little tea spill, and let's just say, it's giving betrayal, it's giving sabotage, and all signs are pointing to none other than Blake Lively. So apparently Emma recently opened up in this super reflective, no name dropping interview, but let's be real, fans connected the dots real quick. She talked about a former co-star who low-key did her dirty, both on a personal and professional level, and people have their money that the person in question is none other than Blake. It all started with this deep emotional project, something Emma was really passionate about. She wasn't just starring in it, she helped shape the whole thing. From handpicking the director to building out the cast, Sis was locked in. And then boom, Blake gets cast as the co-lead. Emma was hopeful, like, okay, let's make this magic happen, especially because Blake came in all sweet and supportive at the first table read. But once the cameras started rolling is when things got shady. Blake's scenes mysteriously got longer, juicier, and Emma's big moments snatched or cut completely. Then suddenly, Blake's team started showing up to meetings Emma organized, press folks were calling her the face of the movie, and Emma's stylist was getting looped into matching looks with Blake's red carpet vibes, and it only got worse. By the time the trailer dropped, Blake was literally narrating it like it was her solo film, and Emma was just there. One quick shot, one. Meanwhile, Emma's over here like, I just wanted equal footing, and got steamrolled instead. The movie that was supposed to be about sisterhood and healing turned into a full-on Blake Lively spotlight, and nobody said a word. Emma didn't throw hands, she didn't throw shade, but her truth hit as hard as a truck. And now folks are finally seeing the cracks in that perfectly curated image. And this is the part where the mask really started to slip. Remember how Emma basically got pushed to the background in a movie she helped build? Well, the real knife in the back didn't even come during filming. It came after, in the media. And trust, this wasn't some innocent PR mix-up, it was calculated. So as the movie release was creeping up, Blake started doing interviews and suddenly it was all about her. Like, I carried the emotional weight, I really found myself in this role, and so on. Blake made it sound like she wrote, directed, and acted in the whole thing solo. And Emma barely got a name drop. When she was mentioned, it felt like a passive afterthought, like, oh yeah, she was there too. The shade was subtle, but it was giving intentional. Then, the gossip blogs got messy. Blind items started popping up about a washed-up actress phoning it in on set. No names, but everyone could read between the lines. And what's wild is that those tips sounded eerily similar to the way Blake's team had been describing Emma behind the scenes. The final slap was that Emma and Blake were supposed to do a joint magazine cover to promote the film, but guess what? Only Blake showed up. Not because Emma bailed, but because she wasn't even invited and the public was told she couldn't make it. That's not a mix-up, that's a strategy. Now here's where it gets real classy. Emma didn't clap back, she didn't rant, she didn't drop receipts. She just finished the press tour like a pro, answered every question, smiled through it, supported the film that had slowly erased her. And when the reviews came out, critics raved over Blake's performance. Emma's called muted. Not because she didn't eat, but because her best scenes had been cut. After that, Emma stepped all the way back. She declined similar roles, she avoided co-leads, and she never worked with Blake again. Her fans clocked it, but Emma kept quiet until now. Fast forward to this low-key podcast interview, months later, Emma's asked a simple little question. What's something the industry doesn't see about you? And what she said next sent the internet into overdrive. She said, and I quote, "People mistake silence for agreement. I trusted someone." I shouldn't have, no names, but that was all we needed. The internet went into full detective mode. People started rewatching press interviews, matching timelines, even comparing behind-the-scenes footage. And then the real flood started. A former Blake co-star posted a shady message about rehearsed sisterhood. A writer came forward saying their script had been rewritten to prioritize one character's looks over another's grief. A costume designer hinted that Blake demanded special fittings, even in scenes where Emma's character was supposed to be the focus, like it wasn't a scream, but it was loud enough. And suddenly people started looking at Blake differently, not because Emma dragged her, but because Emma simply told the truth. This wasn't a story about jealousy or being outshined. It was about being erased. And that soft-spoken confession hit harder than any headline ever could. Blake might still be in the spotlight, but let's be real. Emma's the one with the mic now, and what she said has Hollywood shook. And it's far from the only reason why Hollywood is shook.
Now, as we all know, It Starts With Us actress Blake Lively is, of course, suing co-star Justin Baldoni for alleged sexual harassment, among many other things that went down on set there. But she's now under fire for her own, what's being described as disgusting act while filming A Simple Favor in 2018.
More and more people are coming out saying Blake absolutely needs to drop this Justin lawsuit like yesterday. At this point, there is way too much evidence showing that she and Ryan are weirdos. They've done some pretty questionable stuff themselves. So let me introduce you to a legal doctrine called unclean hands. Basically, it means if you're suing someone, but you've done the same shady stuff you're accusing them of doing, you might not get the outcome you want. So let's say you sue me for talking trash about you, but then I go to court and say, Your Honor, here's a video of them talking trash about me. That's unclean hands. Now, we're not totally sure if this applies when the topic is harassment. Maybe there are special rules, but here's what we do know. Blake is suing Justin Baldoni for defamation. So if this doctrine applies, then Blake and Ryan might really want to sit this one out. Because how are you going to say you were a victim of misconduct while simultaneously bragging about doing similar things on set yourself? So this all started when I found this behind-the-scenes footage from Blake's old movie, A Simple Favor. Blake's literally laughing with the director about how she improvised a scene where she grabs Henry Holding's crotch. Yes, you heard that right. Blake came up with it herself, and they were both laughing about how awkward it was. But she was like, I felt like my character would do that. They even joked about how she kept doing it harder and harder, and so and the director was loving it. Like what? So grabbing a co-star's junk was apparently cute and quirky in 2018. But flash forward to 2024, and suddenly Blake's filing civil rights complaints because Justin told her she smelled nice after she mentioned her spray tan during a slow dance scene. Make it make sense.
Film revealed it was Blake Lively's idea to put her hand on co-star Henry Golding's crotch.
And get this, one of her actual arguments to get dismissed from the case is that she didn't lie. She just left out some context. For example, she claims Justin came into her trailer while she was breastfeeding. Yeah, but forgot to mention she invited him in. A lot of people were shocked when the tea dropped about Blake Lively and her connection to some of the more underground, sinister aspects of Hollywood. But it really highlights how well the media has covered up certain truths. Blake, who's been in the public eye for years, has some ties to these shady dealings that most people aren't even aware of. But instead of being chased out of Hollywood, she was protected. We know about her starring roles, but there's a lot more lurking in the background that not many people are talking about. The media, as always, loves to keep the glam, the glitter, and the fairy tales going, especially when it comes to celebrities like Blake. But there's a whole other layer to her that most people don't know about. This whole protection situation just makes you think, why are some people shielded while others are dragged through the mud for less? Now, we're not saying Blake's got some sinister past herself, but the way the Hollywood elite has this system of covering up, you know what I mean, is honestly wild. The more we look into it, the more it makes sense why some stories just vanish into thin air. This isn't just a typical celebrity cover-up either. There are deep connections here, tied to mind control programs, shady family ties, and powerful people keeping secrets locked away. And in case you forgot exactly what Blake accused Justin of, here's a tiny reminder. We're talking full-on harassment allegations. According to Blake, Justin allegedly took way too many liberties during filming. Things like sucking her bottom lip, kissing her neck, and touching her in scenes without permission. And let's not forget, there was no intimacy coordinator on set for these moments. He also allegedly made inappropriate remarks, opened up about his corn addiction, and even asked her about her weight. And Blake says Justin claimed he could communicate with her dead father because of his spiritual beliefs. She said this caused her deep emotional distress. Last but not least, Blake claimed that after she spoke up, Justin launched a full smear campaign against her. Meanwhile, Justin hit back with a countersuit, saying her claims were knowingly fabricated and that she was the one who had trouble following direction. In February 2025, Blake came back swinging. She expanded her lawsuit, saying 2 other actresses also felt uncomfortable with Justin's behavior on set. So now it's not just her story. It's multiple women allegedly backing it up. Justin released this proof video, but Blake's team is saying that the footage actually helps her case, showing exactly the kind of non-consensual touching she was talking about. And this brings us back to the original question. Blake touching Henry Golding on A Simple Favor. This whole thing is still playing out legally, but it's already shaking things up. The accusations are heavy, the footage is being debated, and the court of public opinion is watching closely. Speaking of accusations, there's another thing you should know about this drama between Justin and Blake. The drama behind Blake's so-called complaint just got even messier, and people are starting to question everything about her motives. First off, and this is key, the complaint in question was never officially filed as a legal document. It wasn't sent to Justin Baldoni, to Wayfarer Studios, or to anyone actually named in it. Nope. Instead, Blake handed it straight to the New York Times. Not to the courts, not to the people allegedly involved, just the media. Phew. Now tell me that ain't suspicious. If you wanted justice, wouldn't you want people held accountable legally? But if all you want is headlines, well, now it's making sense, right? And get this, the complaint wasn't even signed by Blake herself. It was signed by an attorney named Ezra Hudson. So now folks are speculating that this wasn't about seeking legal recourse at all. It was about pushing a narrative. And here's where it gets real interesting. A lot of legal experts are chiming in and pointing out that Blake or her reps never actually state that certain events happened. Instead, they keep saying things like, she believes them to be true. That tiny little word, believes, gives her a major legal loophole. Why? Because if this ever goes to court and she's asked to testify under oath, she could dodge perjury by saying it was just her opinion or belief, not a fact. That's what legal experts call wiggle room, baby. Same strategy Ryan Reynolds allegedly used recently in trying to get Justin Baldoni's lawsuit tossed. He didn't outright say anything happened, just that he believed Justin was a predator. It's all very calculated, y'all, but hold on, because this next part is wild. Now, that part where Blake got comfy with Henry Golding is being flagged as a potential smoking gun for Justin Baldoni's legal team because it shows her doing exactly what she's accusing others of doing to her and apparently laughing it off. A source close to Baldoni's team straight up said they're planning to use that clip in court. And honestly, it could be major, especially if the case turns into a he said, she said. That kind of footage could seriously shift public opinion. While we're at the topic of public opinion, it's pretty much safe to say that Blake's rep is tanking hella fast. Blake is getting dragged for something as simple as serving donuts. But the internet clocked her real quick and the critiques came in hot. So Blake showed up at her friend's donut shop in Connecticut this weekend, all smiles, baking it up and handing out goodies. Cute, right? Well, not everyone thought so. Fans pointed out something very unsanitary. Sis had her long blonde hair down while working around food. Like, girl, not a hairnet, not a scrunchie, nothing. Her luscious locks were just out there swaying over trays of donuts like they were part of the toppings. Now let's keep it real. Blake's hair is kind of her thing. Maybe she thought letting it flow would be a good idea for her hair brand. But this ain't a shampoo commercial. You're serving food. On top of that, some folks are saying the whole donut moment felt like a straight up PR stunt. And if you think about it, this did feel like Blake trying to seem chill and carefree while her very real legal mess with Justin is still unfolding. Some insiders are also saying that this idea of hers did not come from her PR team. Instead, she went rogue. She wanted to do something sweet, literally, and remind the public why they loved her in the first place. But unfortunately, that little detail about the hair was a big oversight. Not only is it a bad look, but federal food safety regulations in every U.S. state require hairnets or tied-up hair when handling food. So not only was it unsanitary, but the donut shop itself may have also dropped the ball by not enforcing the rules. Blake did try to keep it cute on social media, though. She posted pics of herself elbow deep in dough, talking about how it's her happy place and giving her friend a shout-out as the shop owner. Between the flying follicles, the shady PR accusations, and that lawsuit still looming over her, this whole donut moment turned from cute to cringe real fast. But hey, was it an honest mistake, a celeb just trying to spread some joy, or was it a carefully crafted distraction that completely backfired? At the end of the day, we've got more and more people coming out and giving us their 2 cents on Blake's real face, just like Emma Stone. What else do you think is coming for Blake? Let us know all about it down below.